Battle of Godzilla vs. King Kong across different locations. Hey there, fellow kaiju enthusiasts and monster aficionados. Ever found yourself daydreaming about who would win in an all-out brawl between Godzilla and King Kong across different terrains? Well, buckle up because today we're not just scratching the surface, we're diving deep into a fact-filled, number-crunching, and downright monstrous analysis of these two legendary titans. Let's get ready to rumble. Godzilla. Let's kick things off with the king of the monsters himself, Godzilla. Born from the post-World War II anxieties in Japan, Godzilla made his first appearance in 1954. Created by Tomoyuki Tanaka, he was a metaphor for nuclear weapons and their catastrophic potential. Over the years, Godzilla has starred in over 36 films, evolving from a terrifying villain to a complex anti-hero. Godzilla isn't just a big lizard stomping around, he's a walking nuclear reactor. His atomic breath is capable of releasing thermonuclear energy blasts exceeding temperatures of 500,000 degrees Celsius. That's about 90 times hotter than the surface of the sun. He stands at a towering height of over 120 meters, 394 feet, and weighs approximately 99,634 metric tons. Godzilla's regenerative healing factor allows him to recover from devastating injuries rapidly. He's survived direct hits from asteroid impacts and absorbed energy from volcanic eruptions. However, his immense size does come with drawbacks. He isn't the fastest mover on land, clocking in at speeds around 40 kilometers per hour, 25 miles per hour. King Kong. Moving on to our favorite colossal primate, King Kong. Debuting in 1933, Kong was the brainchild of Marion C. Cooper and Ernest B. Schoedsack. Initially standing at around 15 meters, 50 feet, his size has fluctuated over the decades to match up against opponents like Godzilla, reaching heights of over 100 meters, 328 feet, in recent adaptations. Kong is not just brawn, he's got brains too. His intelligence is comparable to that of a highly evolved primate, allowing him to use tools and strategize during battles. Physically, Kong possesses immense strength, able to lift and throw objects weighing thousands of tons. Kong's strengths lie in his speed and dexterity. He can run at speeds exceeding 80 kilometers per hour, 50 miles per hour, and has reflexes sharp enough to dodge projectiles. However, his relatively smaller size compared to Godzilla and lack of natural armor make him more susceptible to damage. Urban metropolis battle. First up, the concrete jungle. Imagine a sprawling city like New York or Tokyo, filled with skyscrapers, narrow alleys, and millions of civilians. The urban environment is dense, vertical, and packed with potential collateral damage. Godzilla's sheer size allows him to tower over most buildings, using his atomic breath to wreak havoc from afar. The tight spaces limit Kong's mobility, and the abundance of structures provides Godzilla with ample materials to topple over, creating barriers or traps. However, Kong's agility shines here. He can scale buildings, leap across rooftops, and use the city's infrastructure to his advantage. Imagine Kong swinging from cranes or using a building's antenna as a spear. In this scenario, Kong could use hit-and-run tactics, striking Godzilla from blind spots. But Godzilla's ability to level the playing field, literally, by destroying buildings could corner Kong. The battle would be a catastrophic symphony of destruction, with the city's very foundations at stake. Island Showdown. Next, a dense, tropical island, think Skull Island, with thick jungles, mountains, and hidden caves. The terrain is rugged, with diverse flora and fauna, and lacks human interference. In open areas, Godzilla can utilize his full arsenal without restraint. His amphibious nature allows him to attack from the sea, catching Kong off guard. The island's resources are less of a hindrance to a creature of his magnitude. This is Kong's home turf. He knows the lay of the land, every nook and cranny. The dense jungle provides cover, and he can set ambushes or use the environment to trap Godzilla. His connection with the island's wildlife could also play a role. Here, Kong's strategic advantages could tip the scales. By using guerrilla tactics and exploiting the terrain, he might outmaneuver Godzilla. However, prolonged exposure to Godzilla's radiation could poison the environment. Oceanic clash. Now, let's dive into the deep blue sea, the vast, open ocean with depths reaching over 10,000 meters, 32,808 feet. The battlefield is the abyss itself, with pressure and darkness as critical factors. Godzilla is in his element, literally. He's an adept swimmer, capable of speeds up to 40 knots, 74 km per hour or 46 miles per hour, underwater. His body can withstand the crushing pressures of the deep sea. He can use thermonuclear pulses to generate underwater shockwaves. Kong, on the other hand, isn't built for aquatic combat. While he can hold his breath for extended periods, swimming in open ocean leaves him vulnerable. His mobility is severely limited, and the risk of drowning is high. In this watery arena, Godzilla has an overwhelming advantage. Unless Kong reaches land quickly or finds a way to fight from a buoyant platform, he's likely to be outmatched and overwhelmed. Mountainous terrain battle. Lastly, imagine a battle atop towering mountain ranges like the Himalayas, with peaks over 8,000 meters, 26,247 feet, treacherous cliffs, avalanches, and thin air. Godzilla's colossal size allows him to traverse mountains by sheer force, creating paths where there are none. His atomic breath could trigger avalanches, using the environment as a weapon against Kong. Kong's climbing abilities are unparalleled. He can scale steep cliffs rapidly, use elevation to his advantage, and ambush from above. His endurance in low-oxygen environments might be better due to his mammalian physiology. In the mountains, the battle becomes a game of cat and mouse. Kong could exploit the terrain to launch surprise attacks, but one misstep could be fatal. Godzilla's destructive capabilities could alter the landscape. Detailed analysis. Physical strength comparison. Godzilla's tail swipe is estimated to generate forces exceeding 575,000 tons of TNT equivalent. Kong's punches, factoring his muscle density and size, could deliver forces around 190,000 tons of TNT. While both are staggeringly powerful, Godzilla has the edge in sheer destructive capability. Special abilities examination. Godzilla's atomic breath isn't just for show. It's a beam of concentrated radiation capable of piercing armor plating over 500 millimeters thick. In Godzilla, King of the Monsters, 2019, his thermonuclear pulses vaporized nearby structures instantly. Kong's use of tools, like the hollow earth axe seen in Godzilla vs. Kong, 2021, demonstrates his adaptability. The axe, capable of absorbing and redirecting Godzilla's atomic breath, levels the playing field. His intelligence allows for creative combat strategies. Environmental influence. Environment plays a crucial role in their battle dynamics. Godzilla's radiation could contaminate surroundings, affecting both flora and fauna. In aquatic environments, his nuclear-based abilities might cause massive ecological damage. Kong's reliance on the environment for tactical advantages means that in barren terrains, he might be at a disadvantage. However, in resource-rich areas, his ingenuity shines. Tactical intelligence. Kong exhibits problem-solving skills on par with humans. In past films, he's shown to understand sign language, set traps, and coordinate with others. Godzilla operates more on instinct, driven by a primal need to maintain balance. Overall battle assessment. Overall, Godzilla's advantages lie in his durability, ranged attacks, and aquatic superiority. Kong's strengths are agility, intelligence, and adaptability. In most neutral environments, Godzilla might have the upper hand due to his overwhelming power. Recap of key points. So, we've journeyed through cities, jungles, oceans, and mountains, analyzing how each titan fares in different battlegrounds. We've compared their physical strengths, special abilities, and how their environments influence the outcome. Final verdict. In a nutshell, if the battle takes place in the ocean or in open areas where Godzilla can maximize his powers, he likely secures the win. In contrast, if Kong can engage Godzilla in environments where his agility and intelligence give him an edge, he stands a fighting chance. But hey, that's just scratching the surface. What do you think? Could Kong outsmart Godzilla in a dense jungle? Or would Godzilla's atomic might be too much to handle? Drop your thoughts, theories, and battle scenarios in the comments below. Let's get this debate roaring. Speaking head, thanks for joining me on this monstrous deep dive. Your passion for these legendary creatures keeps the kaiju spirit alive and stomping. If you enjoyed this content, smash that like button, share it with your fellow monster lovers, and don't forget to subscribe for more epic breakdowns. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Stay tuned because next week we're venturing into the Hollow Earth to explore the origins of these titans and what it means for future battles. You won't want to miss it. Until next time, Keep imagining the unimaginable and embracing the colossal. Catch you later, monster fans. Battle of Godzilla and King Kong. Who will win in different locations? Hey folks. Welcome back to the Ultimate Monster Smackdown analysis. Ever wondered who would win in an all-out brawl between Godzilla and King Kong? Well, today we're diving deep into this colossal clash of the titans. We'll break down their strengths, weaknesses, and see how they fare in different battlefields across the globe. Profile of Godzilla. First up, the king of the monsters himself, Godzilla. Born from the creative minds responding to nuclear anxieties in 1954, Godzilla has become a cultural icon. His origin story is rooted in nuclear radiation, a metaphor for the destructive power of atomic weapons post-World War II. Over nearly 7 decades, he's evolved from a menacing villain to an occasional protector of Earth, showcasing the duality of nature's wrath and guardianship. Godzilla's towering presence stands at approximately 120 meters, or about 394 feet, depending on the iteration. Weighing in at an estimated 90,000 tons, he's a walking natural disaster. His signature atomic breath isn't just a flashy light show, it's a concentrated beam of radioactive energy capable of reaching temperatures exceeding 500,000 degrees Celsius. Moreover, his regenerative healing factor, known as Regenerator G1, allows him to recover from injuries at an astonishing rate, akin to a starfish regrowing limbs but on a massively amplified scale. His skin possesses a neutronium-infused density, making it nearly impervious to conventional weapons. Godzilla's strengths are pretty apparent: immense size, overwhelming physical strength, and devastating atomic abilities. He's also amphibious, making him a threat on land and sea. However, he's not invincible. Certain frequencies can irritate or incapacitate him, as depicted in various films where sonic weapons were used. Additionally, his size can be a drawback in environments that require agility or stealth. Profile of King Kong. Swinging over to King Kong, the eighth wonder of the world. Since his 1933 debut, Kong has captivated audiences as the giant ape with a soft spot. Originating from Skull Island, he represents the untamed force of nature and has been a symbol of man versus wild. Kong's size has varied over the years, but in the Monsterverse, he's been supersized to match Godzilla, standing around 102 meters tall, about 335 feet, and weighing roughly 50,000 tons. But don't let the smaller size fool you. Kong's muscle density and agility give him a punch that packs more impact per kilogram than his reptilian rival. His intelligence sets him apart. Kong demonstrates problem-solving skills, tool usage, and even rudimentary communication. It's crafted from the dorsal fin of a Godzilla ancestor, capable of absorbing and redirecting atomic energy. Kong's agility allows him to leap, climb, and maneuver in ways Godzilla can't. His strategic thinking and ability to use the environment to his advantage make him a formidable opponent. On the flip side, his lighter build means he can be overpowered in a direct confrontation, and he doesn't possess regenerative abilities on par with Godzilla's. Battle scenarios. Urban city showdown. Picture this. New York City at dusk. The skyline is breathtaking until, boom, here come our giants. Skyscrapers become stepping stones in this concrete jungle. In the city, Godzilla's atomic breath becomes a tactical nuke. He can level buildings to flush out Kong, and his sheer size intimidates. The urban grid offers clear lines for his long-range attacks. Kong, the agile acrobat, can swing between buildings, use them for cover, and launch surprise attacks from above. His smaller size and dexterity enable him to navigate tight spaces Godzilla can't. In this scenario, Kong could potentially outmaneuver Godzilla, using guerrilla tactics. But if Godzilla manages to catch Kong in the open, it's game over. Statistically, with Godzilla's destructive capability, he edges out with a 60% chance of victory in the cityscape. Dense jungle encounter. Deep in the heart of the Congo Basin, dense foliage and towering trees create a labyrinth. Visibility is low, and the sounds of wildlife echo around. Godzilla can bulldoze through the jungle, but the terrain limits his line of sight. His atomic breath is less effective without clear targets. Home sweet home for Kong. He can utilize the terrain for ambushes, set traps, and disappear into the greenery. His knowledge of such environments gives him a tactical edge. Kong holds a significant advantage here. His stealth and agility could allow him to wear down Godzilla over time. We're looking at a 70% chance for Kong to take the win in the jungle. Oceanic battle. The vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean. No land in sight. A battleground where the depths hide countless secrets. Godzilla is in his element here. He can swim at speeds of 40 to 50 knots, 46 to 58 miles per hour, and dive to crushing depths without issue. His atomic breath functions underwater, creating devastating steam explosions. Kong's not a swimmer, especially not at these scales. He risks drowning or being an easy target. It's a no-brainer. Godzilla dominates the ocean. A whopping 95% chance of victory goes to the king of the monsters in aquatic combat. Mountainous terrain clash. The Rocky Mountains, rugged, steep, and unforgiving. High altitudes and unstable ground present unique challenges. Godzilla's stamina lets him endure the harsh conditions. He can cause rock slides with his tail strikes or atomic breath, potentially trapping Kong. Kong can scale peaks, leap between cliffs, and use the high ground for ambushes. His dexterity shines here, and thinner air could affect Godzilla's performance more than Kong's. Kong's playground gives him a solid 75% chance of victory. Desert face-off. The barren expanses of the Gobi Desert. Scorching days, freezing nights, and sand as far as the eye can see. Godzilla can absorb the sun's heat during the day, potentially boosting his energy reserves. The open space means no hiding spots for Kong from Godzilla's atomic breath. Kong's survival instincts kick in. He can use mirages and sandstorms to his advantage, employing hit-and-run tactics. The desert is tough to call. It's a 50-50 split. Comparative analysis. Godzilla's muscle mass and durability are off the charts. His skin can withstand ballistic missiles, and his nuclear-powered biology means he doesn't tire easily. Kong's strength is more explosive and agile. Kong is a tactician. His fights are calculated, using strategy over brute force. Godzilla relies on overwhelming power and durability. Godzilla thrives in aquatic and terrestrial environments but struggles with agility in complex terrains. Kong adapts quickly to new environments, using available resources to his advantage. Godzilla's atomic breath is a ranged attack with massive destructive capability. Kong's intelligence and tool use, like wielding weapons that can counter Godzilla's abilities, level the playing field. Fan perspectives and theories. The fanbase is divided. A Reddit poll with over 10,000 votes had Godzilla at 52% and Kong at 48%. Some theories suggest Kong could exploit weaknesses like regeneration lag or sensory overload. Others believe Godzilla's nuclear pulse, an omnidirectional blast, could nullify Kong's close-quarters advantage. Godzilla symbolizes the might and consequences of nuclear power, a force of nature. Kong represents nature's purity and the struggle against technological domination. These themes influence how fans perceive their battles. Conclusion. We've journeyed through cityscapes, jungles, oceans, mountains, and deserts. Each arena shifts the balance between Godzilla's raw power and Kong's agility and intelligence. Considering their performances across different terrains, it's a close match. However, Godzilla edges out overall with a 65% chance of victory when averaging the scenarios and factoring in his devastating atomic abilities. But let's be real, throw in variables like environmental anomalies, unexpected alliances, or even human intervention, and the odds could flip in a heartbeat. Alright, monster fans, it's your turn. Who do you think truly wears the crown, Godzilla or King Kong? Spill your thoughts in the comments below. Let's hash it out. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with your fellow kaiju enthusiasts, and smash that subscribe button for more epic content. Credits and acknowledgements. Huge shout out to all the Godzilla and King Kong films, comics, and official stats that fueled this analysis. Thanks to Legendary Pictures, Toho Company, Limited, and the countless creators who've brought these legends to life. A massive thank you to all of you for joining this colossal breakdown. Until next time, keep dreaming big and stay curious about the world of monsters and myths. Catch you later. Godzilla vs. King Kong. Who would win in different locations? Hey there, kaiju enthusiasts. Welcome back to the Ultimate Showdown analysis. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most epic debates of all time. In the red corner, we have the king of the monsters himself, Godzilla. And in the blue corner, the eighth wonder of the world, King Kong. So, Who would come out on top if these two titans clashed in different terrains? Stick around to find out. Let's get roaring. Alright, folks, here's the game plan. We're not just settling for a one-size-fits-all battle. Nope. We're taking these behemoths and pitting them against each other across various intense environments, from sprawling urban jungles to the depths of the ocean. We'll break down their strengths, weaknesses, and tactical advantages in each locale. So, whether you're Team Godzilla or Team Kong, get ready for some mind-blowing, fact-driven analysis. Legends unveiled. First up, let's unravel the mysteries of Godzilla. Originating from the depths of the Pacific Ocean, Godzilla was awakened and mutated by nuclear radiation in 1954. This isn't your average lizard, we're talking about a creature standing approximately. Battle of Godzilla and King Kong. Who will win? Battles in different locations. Hey there, fellow kaiju enthusiasts. T-Rex Gorilla, welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the MonsterVerse's most mind-blowing debates. Ever wondered who would win in an all-out brawl between Godzilla and King Kong across different terrains? Well, today we're breaking it down, zone by zone. So grab your popcorn, settle in, and let's get ready to rumble. Godzilla, origin and background. Let's kick things off with the king of the monsters himself, Godzilla. Originating in 1954 as a metaphor for nuclear devastation, Godzilla has evolved over nearly 7 decades. This titan is a prehistoric amphibious reptile awakened and empowered by nuclear radiation. His appearances span over 30 films, making him a pop culture icon and a subject of extensive scientific and theoretical analyses. Physical attributes. Godzilla's size has fluctuated, but in Godzilla, King of the Monsters, 2019, he towers at 119.8 meters, 393 feet, and weighs an estimated 99,634 metric tons. His skin is covered in thick, keloid-like scales, providing natural armor that can withstand pressures up to 1,500 megapascals, a necessity given his deep-sea habitat. Those dorsal plates along his back? They're not just for show, they act as energy conduits for his atomic breath. Powers and abilities. Beyond brute strength, Godzilla possesses an array of powers. His iconic atomic breath is a concentrated beam of radiation measured to reach temperatures exceeding 500,000 degrees Celsius. In terms of energy output, that's equivalent to several gigawatts of power, rivaling the Hiroshima bomb's yield within seconds. He also has a nuclear pulse, an omnidirectional blast of nuclear energy, and regenerative abilities fueled by a substance dubbed Regenerator G1. This allows him to recover from severe injuries at an accelerated rate. However, Godzilla isn't without vulnerabilities. His nuclear energy can be depleted, especially after intense atomic breath usage, potentially leading to a temporary state of hibernation for recharging. Additionally, weapons like the Oxygen Destroyer have proven effective against him in past encounters. Extreme cold can slow his metabolic processes, and while he's strong, he's not the fastest mover. King Kong. Origin and background. Swinging over to Kong, the colossal ape made his first appearance in 1933. Hailing from Skull Island, Kong is more than just a giant gorilla. He's a throwback to a prehistoric era, a guardian of his domain, and often displays complex emotional depth. His interactions with humans reveal intelligence levels comparable to hominids, with the ability to learn sign language and use tools. Physical attributes. Kong's height has been subject to significant growth. In Kong, Skull Island, 2017, he stands at approximately 31.7 meters, 104 feet. By Godzilla vs. Kong, 2021, he's bulked up to around 102 meters, 335 feet, weighing an estimated 50,000 metric tons. His muscular build grants him extraordinary strength-to-weight ratios, and his skeletal structure is adapted to absorb impacts that would crush ordinary creatures. His fur provides insulation and minor protection against environmental hazards. Powers and abilities. Kong possesses immense physical strength, agility, and intelligence. His ability to use tools is highlighted by his wielding of an axe made from a Godzilla dorsal fin, capable of absorbing and redirecting atomic breath. His leaping ability allows him to cover distances exceeding 100 meters in a single bound, and his strategic thinking enables him to set ambushes and use the environment to his advantage. He can even identify and exploit weaknesses in his opponents. Despite his strengths, Kong lacks regenerative abilities. Injuries can incapacitate him for extended periods. His fur and skin, while providing some protection, are susceptible to burns and deep wounds. Additionally, his emotional connections can be exploited, potentially diverting his focus during critical moments. He's also less effective in environments where he can't utilize his agility. Criteria for battle analysis. Before we pit these giants against each other, let's set some ground rules. We'll evaluate environmental influences, physical stats like strength, measured in megatons of force, speed, kilometers per hour, endurance, battle duration without fatigue, and cognitive abilities, problem-solving skills and tactical planning. Each battleground presents unique challenges. We'll explore how terrain, climate, and human elements affect combat dynamics. For instance, urban areas introduce obstacles and potential collateral damage, whereas open oceans test aquatic prowess. We'll quantify advantages where possible, using metrics like maneuverability scores and environmental adaptation indexes. Urban cityscape. Environment description. Picture a sprawling metropolis like Tokyo or New York, dense skyscrapers, labyrinthine streets, and millions of inhabitants. The cityscape is a complex environment with vertical and horizontal challenges. Godzilla's advantages and disadvantages. Godzilla's atomic breath can decimate city blocks, and his mass allows him to bulldoze through buildings. The urban environment amplifies his destructive potential, potentially increasing his effective attack radius by up to 25% due to cascading structural failures. However, the tight grid can limit his maneuverability, and collateral damage might cause chain reactions, like gas explosions, potentially affecting him. King Kong's advantages and disadvantages. Kong can navigate the cityscape with ease, scaling buildings and using them as vantage points or shields. His smaller size relative to Godzilla allows for stealthier movement. He can leap from rooftop to rooftop, covering significant distances quickly. On the flip side, the sheer concentration of structures could box him in, and lack of open spaces might limit his leaping. In a city, Kong could utilize guerrilla tactics, striking from above or behind structures. If he can avoid Godzilla's line of sight, he may land significant blows. However, Godzilla's area of effect attacks and superior durability might eventually corner Kong. Statistically, Godzilla's 70% destruction rate in urban settings gives him a slight edge, but Kong's maneuverability could level the playing field. Dense jungle. Environment description. Envision the Amazon rainforest, thick vegetation, hidden pitfalls, and limited visibility. The jungle's biomass density is among the highest on Earth, presenting a natural obstacle course. Godzilla's advantages and disadvantages. Godzilla's size could cause deforestation with each step, but moving through dense foliage may slow him down. The biomass could interfere with his dorsal plate's radiation absorption, slightly decreasing his energy regeneration. Additionally, the uneven terrain poses a risk of destabilization. King Kong's advantages and disadvantages. This is Kong's playground. His knowledge of forest terrains allows him to set traps and use vegetation for concealment. He can move silently, thanks to his padded hands and feet, and his dark fur blends into the shadows. However, igniting the forest, whether accidentally by Godzilla or otherwise, could create hazardous conditions for both. Kong's statistical probability of victory increases to about 60% in jungle settings due to environmental familiarity and tactical advantages. If he can keep Godzilla disoriented, he might secure a win. However, any direct confrontation remains perilous due to Godzilla's overwhelming power. Open ocean. Environment description. An endless expanse of water with depths reaching over 3,000 meters in some regions. The ocean is a three-dimensional battleground. Godzilla's advantages and disadvantages. Godzilla can swim at speeds up to Mach 2 underwater, about 2,450 kilometers per hour, and withstand extreme pressures. His bionuclear circulatory system functions optimally in aquatic environments, allowing for sustained high-performance combat. The ocean enhances his stealth capabilities, as sonar detection is less effective against him. King Kong's advantages and disadvantages. Kong is at a severe disadvantage here. His muscle density could cause buoyancy issues, and prolonged immersion risks hypothermia and drowning. Limited ability to fight or defend himself reduces his combat effectiveness. He lacks any significant adaptations for swimming or underwater combat. Given the data, Godzilla has over a 95% chance of victory in aquatic environments. Unless Kong finds a naval vessel to stand on, which presents its own problems, this arena is Godzilla's domain. The ocean magnifies Godzilla's strengths while highlighting Kong's weaknesses. Mountainous region. Environment description. Think of the Himalayas. Elevations exceeding 8,000 meters, thin air, and unpredictable weather. The terrain features sharp inclines, cliffs, and valleys. Godzilla's advantages and disadvantages. Godzilla's mass could trigger avalanches, possibly engulfing both titans. The elevation might not affect his nuclear-powered physiology, but maneuvering on steep inclines could pose challenges. His larger footprints might destabilize the ground beneath him. King Kong's advantages and disadvantages. Kong's climbing skills are unparalleled. He can scale sheer cliffs quickly and use higher ground for tactical advantages. The thin air could be a problem, but his adaptations suggest a high level of physiological resilience. He can use boulders as projectiles, increasing his ranged options. In mountainous terrains, Kong's chances improve to approximately 55%. By exploiting high ground and guerrilla tactics, he might outmaneuver Godzilla. Yet, one misstep could be catastrophic due to the treacherous environment. Godzilla's long-range attacks could still pose a significant threat. Arctic tundra. Environment description. An icy wasteland with temperatures plunging below -50°C and hidden crevasses. The Arctic is characterized by permafrost and minimal vegetation. Godzilla's advantages and disadvantages. Godzilla's internal reactor provides constant heat, preventing freezing. However, extreme cold could affect his external tissues and slow electrical signals, potentially reducing reaction times by up to 10%. Ice surfaces might also reduce traction. King Kong's advantages and disadvantages. Kong's fur offers some insulation, but not necessarily against Arctic conditions. Energy expenditure to maintain body heat could lead to faster fatigue. The slippery terrain could hinder his agility, and limited resources make tool use more difficult. In the Arctic, Godzilla's endurance likely grants him around a 65% chance of victory. Unless Kong can find shelter or way to exploit the environment, like causing an ice shelf collapse, Godzilla's resilience gives him the upper hand. The harsh climate favors Godzilla's abilities to function under extreme conditions. Comparative analysis. Summary of each battle. Urban cityscape. Godzilla has a slight advantage due to destructive capabilities but risks entrapment. Kong's agility makes it a close match. Dense jungle. Kong's home turf gives him a tactical edge. He can utilize the environment for stealth and surprise attacks. Open ocean. Godzilla overwhelmingly dominates. Kong is nearly incapacitated in this environment. Mountainous region. Kong's climbing and ambush tactics could tip the scales. Godzilla's power remains a constant threat. Arctic tundra. Godzilla's endurance outpaces Kong's susceptibility to cold. The environment hinders Kong more significantly. Overall strengths and weaknesses. Godzilla's strengths. Offensive power. Atomic breath with high destructive yield. Defense. Nearly impenetrable hide and regenerative abilities. Endurance. Ability to fight for extended periods without tiring. Aquatic prowess. Dominates in underwater environments. Godzilla's weaknesses. Agility. Less maneuverable in confined or complex terrains. Energy dependency. Depletion leads to vulnerability. Environmental hindrances. Certain terrains can limit movement. Kong's strengths. Agility and speed. Superior mobility allows for evasive tactics. Intelligence. Tool use and strategic planning. Strength to weight ratio. Exceptional ability to deliver powerful blows. Kong's weaknesses. Durability. Less resistant to damage, no regenerative healing. Range attacks. Lacks inherent ranged capabilities without tools. Environmental limitations. Extreme conditions can impair performance. So, kaiju scholars, where do you stand? Does the environment make or break the battle? Could Kong's brains beat Godzilla's brawn? Let me know your theories and calculations in the comments. Let's get this debate roaring. Speaking head fire. Final verdict. In conclusion, there's no one-size-fits-all answer. The victor between Godzilla and Kong heavily depends on the environment. Statistically, Godzilla takes the lead in open and harsh terrains, while Kong shines in complex, cluttered environments where his agility and intelligence can be fully utilized. It's a classic matchup of raw power versus tactical finesse. Variables like external interference, hello, Mechagodzilla, access to additional power sources like hollow earth energy, or even human intervention can drastically alter outcomes. The unpredictability is what makes this matchup so fascinating. Science fiction often introduces elements that can tip the scales in unexpected ways. But hey, that's just one deep dive into the monsterverse. The beauty of these legendary creatures is that they keep us guessing. So, keep the discussion alive. Share your own analyses, propose new battlegrounds, or even throw in another contender. Maybe a three-way battle with Mothra? Globe, thanks for joining me on this epic journey through monster mayhem. You guys make this community awesome. Your passion and insights fuel these deep dives. If you loved this video as much as I loved making it, hit that like button, smash the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you won't miss any future battles. Let's keep this kaiju conversation going. We've got some exciting content coming up. Ever wondered how Mothra's bioluminescence works or the physics behind Rodan's supersonic flight? Stay tuned for more geeky goodness. Until next time, keep dreaming big and thinking bigger. Remember, in the world of giants, even the smallest ideas can have a massive impact. Catch you in the next video. Peace out, Scissor. Godzilla vs. King Kong. Who will win? Epic battles across different terrains. Ever found yourself debating with friends over who would win in an all-out brawl between Godzilla and King Kong? Yeah, me too. It's the ultimate titan tussle that's captured imaginations for decades. Today, we're diving deep, expert-level deep, into this colossal clash. But here's the twist. We're throwing these giants into different battlegrounds to see how terrain tips the scales. Buckle up, this is gonna be wild. So, let's set the stage. On one side, we've got Godzilla, the king of the monsters, radiation-fueled, city-stomping behemoth. On the other, King Kong, the eighth wonder of the world, massive, mighty, and surprisingly intelligent. The question isn't just who would win in a fight, but how different environments could sway the outcome. Terrain isn't just background scenery, it's a game changer. Let's dive into the nitty-gritty details. Godzilla, originating from the depths of the ocean, first appearing in 1954, Godzilla was a metaphor for nuclear devastation, a byproduct of atomic bomb testing. Beyond the symbolism, let's talk stats. Height, depending on the iteration, ranges from 50 meters, 164 feet, in the original to over 120 meters, 394 feet, in recent films. Weight, estimated at 90,000 metric tons in some portrayals. Powers and abilities, atomic breath, a beam of concentrated radiation, with temperatures estimated upwards of 500,000 degrees Celsius. That's hotter than the surface of the sun. Regeneration. Thanks to his G-cells, Godzilla can recover from severe injuries rapidly. Amphibious nature. Mastery over both land and sea, with the ability to swim at speeds of 40 knots, about 46 miles per hour. Strengths and weaknesses. Strengths. Can absorb nuclear and radiation energy, making conventional weapons almost useless. Weaknesses. Historically shown to be slower on land, and certain versions have weaknesses to electricity or cadmium. King Kong. Debuting in 1933, Kong hails from Skull Island, a place teeming with prehistoric creatures. Stats. Height. Varies widely, but in recent films like Kong, Skull Island, he's about 31.7 meters, 104 feet, tall. Weight. Estimated around 158 metric tons. Powers and abilities. Physical strength. Can lift and throw objects many times his own weight. Remember when he swung that ship propeller? Agility and climbing. Capable of scaling massive structures, speed and mobility are his game. Intelligence and tool usage. Uses environmental objects as weapons, like tree trunks or makeshift clubs. Strengths and weaknesses. Strengths. Highly adaptable, shows emotional intelligence and strong problem-solving skills. Weaknesses. Vulnerable to attacks that can penetrate his tough but not impenetrable hide. Limited in ranged combat. The importance of terrain. Now, let's talk terrain. It's not just where the battle happens, it's how the environment can either amplify or dampen each Titan's abilities. Environmental advantages. Certain terrains can either restrict or enhance movement. Dense forests might impede Godzilla but offer Kong ample opportunity for ambush. Strategic elements. Both could use the environment offensively, Godzilla causing a tsunami, Kong triggering a rockslide. Psychological factors. Familiar versus unfamiliar settings could impact their combat effectiveness. A home field advantage is real. Battle scenarios in different locations. Urban metropolis. Imagine a sprawling cityscape. Think Tokyo or New York, with skyscrapers reaching over 300 meters, 984 feet. Narrow streets, subways running underground, and millions of civilians. Battle dynamics. Godzilla, his sheer size is an advantage here. Buildings are mere obstacles he can crush or topple. His atomic breath can level city blocks, causing massive destruction. Kong. His agility shines. Climbing skyscrapers gives him vantage points. He could use cranes, antennae, or even subway cars as weapons. His smaller size, relatively speaking, allows for better maneuvering. Potential collateral damage. Massive. We're talking about potential casualties in the millions and economic damages exceeding trillions of dollars. Not to mention the long-term effects of radiation if Godzilla goes nuclear. Predicted outcome. In an urban setting, it's a tight match. Kong's agility and use of the environment could give him an edge, but Godzilla's raw power and destructive capability might be overwhelming. Slight advantage to Godzilla due to durability and ranged attacks. Dense jungle. Welcome to Skull Island-esque terrain. Thick canopy, towering trees over 60 meters, 197 feet, tall, and uneven ground. Battle dynamics. Kong, home turf. He knows the terrain, can set ambushes, and use the foliage for stealth. His climbing skills allow for rapid vertical movement. Godzilla, massive size becomes a hindrance. Trees and uneven ground impede movement. Can't maneuver as quickly, and foliage might obscure his vision. Predicted outcome. Kong takes the lead here. Utilizing guerrilla tactics, he can strike and retreat, wearing down Godzilla. Unless Godzilla levels the entire forest, possible but energy-consuming, Kong's at an advantage. Open ocean. Imagine the Pacific depths, with trenches over 10,000 meters, 32,808 feet, deep. The battleground is vast and three-dimensional. Battle dynamics. Godzilla, born from the sea, he can reach speeds of 40 knots underwater and withstand immense pressure. Kong, not built for swimming. At best, he can tread water but is vulnerable. Predicted outcome. No contest. Godzilla dominates. He could drag Kong underwater, where pressure and lack of oxygen would be fatal. Advantage. Godzilla, volcanic terrain. A volcanic island with active eruptions. Temperatures exceeding 1,250 degrees Celsius, 2,282 degrees Fahrenheit. Lava flows and toxic gases abound. Battle dynamics. Godzilla absorbs radiation and heat could potentially empower him. His thick hide offers some protection against extreme temperatures. Kong, while tough, he's susceptible to burns and heat exhaustion. Limited options for cover. Predicted outcome. Godzilla likely harnesses the environment to bolster his strength. Kong's mobility is hindered, and the harsh conditions sap his endurance. Advantage. Godzilla, Arctic tundra, a frozen wasteland. Temperatures plummeting below -50 degrees Celsius, -58 degrees Fahrenheit. Icebergs, blizzards, and treacherous terrain. Battle dynamics. Godzilla, cold could slow his metabolic processes, but his nuclear core might protect him from freezing. Kong, fur offers insulation, but not indefinitely. Ice could crack under their weight, plunging them into freezing waters. Predicted outcome. Challenging for both, but Godzilla's internal heat gives him an edge. Kong might succumb to hypothermia over time. Slight advantage to Godzilla. Head-to-head comparisons. Physical strength. Godzilla's mass and muscle suggest he can exert forces exceeding 20,000 tons of TNT equivalent. Kong, though smaller, displays feats like lifting boulders and creatures weighing several thousand tons. Intelligence and strategy. Kong demonstrates higher cognitive functions, tool use, problem solving. Godzilla operates more on instinct but shows signs of strategic planning in some films. Special abilities. Atomic breath is a massive advantage, can reach distances over 500 meters, 1,640 feet, with destructive capability. Kong's tool usage is versatile but lacks the same range and power. Adaptability. Kong adapts quickly to new environments, learning and improvising. Godzilla relies on his overwhelming power but has shown adaptability over time. Historical battles and outcomes. Looking back, in the 1962 film, King Kong vs. Godzilla, the outcome was ambiguous, though some argue Kong had the upper hand. In Godzilla vs. Kong, 2021, they fought to a standstill before teaming up. Historically, narratives favor neither titan definitively, keeping the debate alive. Fan perspectives. Poll results. Recent fan polls show a near 50-50 split, Godzilla slightly ahead with 52% favoring him over Kong's 48%. The community is passionate on both sides. Arguments from both sides. Godzilla fans emphasize his indestructibility, ranged attacks, and nuclear power. Kong supporters highlight his intelligence, speed, and ability to use tools and environment. Community theories. Some fans speculate that Kong could wield a weapon capable of deflecting or absorbing Godzilla's atomic breath, citing the axe from Godzilla vs. Kong, made from a Godzilla scale. Expert opinions. Film critics. Critics note that the appeal lies in their contrasts, Godzilla as a force of nature, Kong as a relatable giant. Character development adds depth to their confrontations. Scientists and biologists. Biologists point out that Kong's primate anatomy suggests higher intelligence, while Godzilla's reptilian biology could imply limited cognitive functions. However, Godzilla's radiation-based biology defies conventional science. Combat strategists. Experts in military tactics suggest that terrain plays a crucial role. In open spaces, ranged attacks dominate. In cluttered environments, agility and strategy can outweigh brute force. Final verdict. After dissecting all this, who comes out on top? It's clear that the winner varies based on environment. Urban metropolis, Godzilla, by a hair. Dense jungle. Kong takes it. Open ocean. Godzilla dominates. Volcanic terrain. Godzilla again. Arctic tundra. Godzilla edges out. So, overall, Godzilla seems to have the advantage in more terrains. But hey, Kong isn't a slouch. His adaptability and intelligence make him a formidable opponent. And honestly, the unpredictability of such titanic battles means anything could happen. Alright, now it's your turn. Who do you think would win? Is there a terrain we didn't cover that could tip the scales? Drop your theories and arguments in the comments below. Let's get this debate roaring louder than a titan's roar. Thanks for joining me on this colossal journey through the ultimate titan showdown. Whether you're Team Godzilla or Team Kong, one thing's for sure, we all love a good monster mash. Stay tuned for our next video where we'll be exploring the science behind other legendary creatures. Until then, keep pondering the big questions, and I'll catch you next time. Hey there, monster enthusiasts. Welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the most epic titan throwdowns. Today, we're tackling a colossal question that's been fueling debates for decades. Who would win in a battle between Godzilla and King Kong across different locations? Imagine the king of the monsters squaring off against the eighth wonder of the world in various arenas, from the dense jungles to sprawling urban landscapes. It's not just about brute strength, it's about strategy, environment, and pure willpower. So, grab your favorite snack, sit back, and let's unleash these giants into the ultimate battleground analysis. Let's get started. First up, let's talk about Godzilla, or Gojira, as originally named in Japan. Debuting in 1954, Godzilla was conceived as a metaphor for nuclear devastation post-World War II. Over nearly 7 decades, this radioactive reptile has evolved from a malevolent force to a protective titan, appearing in over 30 films. He's not just a monster, he's a walking, roaring piece of cinema and cultural history. Godzilla isn't just big, he's a walking natural disaster. Standing anywhere from 50 meters in early films to a towering 120 meters in recent iterations, his weight scales up to 100,000 metric tons. Atomic breath. A devastating radioactive heat beam that can reach temperatures up to 500,000 degrees Celsius. This isn't just for show, it's melted skyscrapers and obliterated other kaiju. Regenerative healing factor. Thanks to something called Regenerator G1, Godzilla can heal from wounds at an accelerated rate, making him incredibly resilient. Amphibious nature. Godzilla is at home both on land and underwater, capable of diving to the ocean's depths without any pressure-related issues. Notable feats include surviving a meteor impact equivalent to 100 gigatons of TNT, defeating King Ghidorah, an alien dragon with gravitational beams, and absorbing a nuclear explosion that increased his power exponentially. Swinging over to King Kong. Introduced in 1933, Kong hails from Skull Island, a land forgotten by time. Unlike Godzilla, Kong often embodies the clash between nature and humanity, showcasing intelligence and even empathy. Over the years, his size has varied, but his impact on pop culture remains colossal. Kong brings a different skill set to the table: super strength and agility. In Kong, Skull Island, 2017, he's about 31.6 meters tall, but by Godzilla vs. Kong, 2021, he's grown to match Godzilla's size, around 102 meters. He can leap great distances, climb with ease, and his punches pack a wallop. Intelligence and tool usage. Kong uses his environment, crafting weapons like his iconic battle axe, which actually absorbs and redirects Godzilla's atomic breath. Enhanced senses. Acute hearing and smell, giving him an edge in detecting threats. Notable feats include defeating the Skullcrawlers, deadly creatures native to Skull Island, going toe-to-toe with Godzilla and holding his own, and demonstrating the ability to learn and adapt quickly during combat situations. Urban cityscape. Cities are Godzilla's stomping grounds, literally. His sheer size and atomic breath can turn skyscrapers into rubble in seconds. The abundance of metal and radiation sources can potentially amplify his powers, thanks to his ability to absorb energy. But don't count Kong out. The urban jungle provides Kong with verticality. He can scale buildings like we climb stairs, using them to launch aerial attacks or evade blasts. Plus, he can use debris as makeshift weapons. Imagine Kong swinging a steel girder like a baseball bat. In a city fight, it's a clash between raw destructive power and agile guerrilla tactics. While Godzilla can level the playing field with his atomic breath, Kong's mobility might allow him to land critical blows and possibly outsmart Godzilla. However, Godzilla's durability and ranged attacks give him the edge. Winner. Godzilla *, but it's a close call. Dense jungle. In the jungle, Godzilla's size is both a blessing and a curse. He can bulldoze through the forest, but the dense canopy could limit his vision and maneuverability. His atomic breath could ignite the environment, but that might cause more harm than good if it leads to a massive wildfire. This is Kong's playground. He's in his element, literally. He can navigate the terrain with ease, set up ambushes, and utilize the environment for stealth attacks. His knowledge of the flora and fauna could give him unexpected allies or tools. With the home field advantage, Kong can use hit-and-run tactics, wearing down Godzilla over time. Unless Godzilla can flush him out effectively, he might be at a significant disadvantage. Winner. King Kong * in the jungle. Open ocean. Water battle? Godzilla says, bring it on. He can breathe underwater, swim at speeds of 40 knots, and his power doesn't diminish beneath the waves. The ocean depths offer him unlimited mobility. Unfortunately for Kong, he's not exactly Aquaman. While he can swim, fighting in deep water against a creature like Godzilla isn't feasible. His strength and agility are severely limited, and there's the small issue of needing to breathe air. This one's pretty straightforward. In the ocean, Godzilla has every conceivable advantage. Winner. Godzilla *, no contest. Mountainous terrain. Godzilla can use his mass to destabilize the terrain. Causing landslides or avalanches could disrupt Kong's footing. Plus, the echoes in the mountains might amplify his roar, potentially disorienting Kong. Kong's climbing skills are legendary. He can scale sheer cliffs, leap between peaks, and use the high ground to his advantage. Throwing boulders or causing rockfalls could be part of his strategy. This environment levels the playing field. If Kong can stay agile and keep to the high ground, he could outmaneuver Godzilla. However, one well-placed atomic breath could bring the mountain down. Winner. Toss-up *, but maybe Kong by a hair's breadth. Arctic landscape. Godzilla's metabolism isn't heavily affected by cold temperatures. In some films, he's seen swimming in sub-zero waters without issue. The stark white landscape could make his atomic breath even more blinding. Kong's a tropical guy. The extreme cold could slow him down, potentially leading to hypothermia. His footing on ice and snow would be less secure, affecting his agility. In the cold wastelands, Godzilla's endurance prevails. Winner. Godzilla. Physical strength comparison. Godzilla's muscle mass and size allow him to exert forces upwards of 2 million tons force. Kong, while smaller, isn't far behind proportionally, with estimates around 150,000 tons force. Kong's strength is also more focused due to his primate physiology, allowing for explosive movements. Intelligence and strategy. Kong's got brains to match his brawn. He's demonstrated problem-solving skills on par with great apes, using tools and setting traps. Godzilla operates on a more instinctual level, but don't mistake that for lack of strategy. He's an apex predator with millions of years of evolution behind him. Special abilities. Godzilla's atomic breath is a ranged weapon that can turn the tide quickly. However, Kong's use of his battle axe, especially if it can absorb and redirect that energy, gives him a countermeasure. It's science meets savagery, durability and endurance. Godzilla's thick hide and healing factor make him a tank. He's survived direct hits from weaponry designed to destroy kaiju. Kong is tough but less durable. He bleeds when cut and doesn't heal as rapidly. Adaptability. Kong adapts to new environments and situations, learning and adjusting his tactics on the fly. Godzilla adapts physically, capable of surviving in extreme conditions and even absorbing radiation to power up. Previous encounters. Back in 1962, King Kong vs. Godzilla left fans debating who actually won. The ending was ambiguous, showing Kong swimming away, leaving Godzilla's fate uncertain. Fast forward to Godzilla vs. Kong, 2021, where they face off multiple times, each winning a round before teaming up against Mechagodzilla. It's like a heavyweight boxing match with monsters. Fan opinions. Polls show a near 50-50 split. Hardcore Godzilla fans cite his near invincibility and nuclear powers. Kong supporters argue that his intelligence and combat skills give him the edge. Forums are filled with detailed analyses, some even using physics equations to back their claims. Alternative scenarios. Some fans propose that if Kong had access to advanced human technology or could harness more energy sources, he'd stand a better chance. Others suggest that in a prolonged battle, Godzilla's nuclear energy might deplete, giving Kong an opening. It's a rabbit hole of possibilities. So, we've journeyed through jungles, scaled mountains, swam the oceans, and trudged through icy tundras to dissect this epic rivalry. Godzilla brings overwhelming power and durability, especially in environments that favor his aquatic and nuclear nature. Kong offers agility, intelligence, and adaptability, shining brightest in terrains that play to his strengths. Drumroll, please. In a neutral environment with no external factors, Godzilla likely edges out as the victor due to his raw power and endurance. However, throw in environmental variables, and Kong could tip the scales in his favor. It's not just about who hits harder, but who uses the battlefield to their advantage. But hey, that's just one deep dive analysis. What do you think? Are you Team Godzilla or Team Kong? Do you have calculations, theories, or just a gut feeling? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get this Titan-sized discussion rolling. Thanks for hanging out with me on this Monster Mash journey. You're the best audience a channel could ask for. Seriously, give yourselves a pat on the back. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more deep dives into epic battles and legendary lore, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss out. Stay tuned, because next week we're pitting the Transformers against the Pacific Rim Jaegers in a battle of the giants. You won't want to miss it. Until then, keep dreaming big and debating bigger. Catch you in the next video. Peace out. Battle of Godzilla and King Kong. Who will win? Battles in different locations. Hey there, fellow kaiju aficionados. Ever found yourself daydreaming about who would win in the Ultimate Titan Smackdown between Godzilla and King Kong? Well, you're not alone. Today, we're diving deep, like Mariana Trench deep, into a battle analysis that'll pit these legendary giants against each other across different battlegrounds. So grab your popcorn and let's geek out together. The Titans unveiled. Godzilla, the king of the monsters. First up, let's talk Godzilla, the Og kaiju and radioactive superstar. Making his grand debut in 1954, Godzilla was conceived as a symbol of nuclear devastation, embodying the anxieties of a post-war era. But beyond the metaphor, what makes Big G tick? Standing at a staggering 120 meters tall and tipping the scales at around 99,000 metric tons, Godzilla is no lightweight. His body is a fortress of dense muscle and thick, segmented scales infused with radiation-resistant properties. Those iconic dorsal fins? Not just for show. They're integral to his energy generation. Now, let's geek out on his abilities. Atomic breath. A superheated beam reaching temperatures upwards of 500,000 degrees Celsius. This isn't just fire, it's a concentrated stream of radioactive plasma capable of melting through virtually any substance. Regenerative healing factor. Thanks to his advanced mutation, Godzilla possesses radiation-enhanced regenerative tissue. This allows cellular regeneration at an accelerated rate, healing wounds that would be fatal to others. Nuclear pulse. An omnidirectional blast of nuclear energy emanating from his body, serving as both offense and defense against multiple opponents. As for feats, Godzilla's faced off against the likes of King Ghidorah, an extraterrestrial hydra with gravity beams, and emerged victorious. He's survived direct hits from meteorites, shrugged off modern weaponry, and even powered himself up by absorbing terrestrial and cosmic radiation. King Kong. The eighth wonder of the world. Now, onto King Kong, the colossal primate with a whole lot of attitude and a heart to match. First appearing in 1933, Kong has been the embodiment of nature's raw power and the bond between beast and humanity. Recent iterations place Kong at around 102 meters tall and weighing approximately 50,000 metric tons. While lighter than Godzilla, Kong's musculature is highly efficient. Kong's abilities include super strength, capable of lifting and throwing objects several times his own weight. In Kong Skull Island, he toppled a 70,000-ton monster with sheer brute force. Agility and mobility. Despite his size, Kong exhibits incredible agility. He can sprint at speeds exceeding 50 kilometers per hour, leap vast distances. Intelligence and tool use. Kong displays sapient-level intelligence, utilizing tools and weapons. Remember when he fashioned an axe from a giant bone and a Godzilla-scale dorsal plate? Yeah, he's crafty like that. In terms of feats, Kong has battled colossal creatures like the skullcrawlers, adapted to hostile environments, and shown the ability to strategize during combat, outsmarting opponents who relied solely on brute strength. Factors influencing the battle. Comparative analysis. Let's break it down, stat by stat. Strength and endurance. Godzilla's sheer mass and muscle density provide unparalleled strength. Muscle cross-sectional analysis suggests he can exert forces exceeding 8 teranewtons. Kong, while lighter, benefits from a primate's muscle efficiency and can deliver punches with kinetic energies around 4 terajoules. A force equivalent to about 1 kiloton of TNT. Offensive capabilities. Godzilla's atomic breath gives him a significant range advantage. The beam travels at relativistic speeds, making dodging nearly impossible at close range. Kong, however, compensates with melee prowess, delivering rapid strikes and leveraging his environment. Defensive abilities. Godzilla's skin can withstand temperatures up to 1 million degrees Celsius and pressures found in the ocean's deepest trenches. Kong relies more on evasion but has shown resilience to severe injuries. Intelligence and tactics. Kong's cerebral cortex is proportionally larger, indicating higher cognitive functions. He can plan, set traps, and use the environment strategically. Godzilla operates on a mix of instinct and learned behavior from countless battles. The importance of location. Environment is the wild card in this matchup. Environmental advantages. Certain terrains amplify their strengths. For Godzilla, open spaces with access to water enhance his offensive and defensive capabilities. For Kong, environments rich in structures provide opportunities for tactical maneuvers. Accessibility of resources. Kong's tool usage hinges on available materials. Godzilla's energy reserves can be replenished by absorbing radiation from the environment. Battle scenarios in various locations. Urban metropolis showdown. Setting. Neon-lit streets of Hong Kong at night. Skyscrapers piercing the clouds, labyrinthine alleyways, and a dense population center. Godzilla's advantages. His atomic breath can cause catastrophic collateral damage, destabilizing buildings. The density of structures offers Godzilla opportunities to trap Kong within falling debris. Kong's advantages. Kong can use buildings like a parkour course, gaining vertical advantage and obscuring Godzilla's line of sight. He could utilize construction cranes as spears. Predicted outcome. Kong's agility and use of the environment could allow him to outmaneuver Godzilla, landing critical blows. However, prolonged exposure could lead to urban destruction, potentially weakening the battlefield. Dense tropical jungle clash. Setting. The depths of the Congo rainforest. Lush vegetation, towering trees, and hidden rivers weave a tapestry of green. Godzilla's challenges. Limited mobility due to the dense flora. His size could cause entanglement, and the canopy reduces the effectiveness of his atomic breath. King Kong's advantages. Kong can navigate the terrain effortlessly, utilizing the trees for stealth attacks. The jungle provides ample materials for weapons and traps. Predicted outcome. Kong could launch guerrilla-style assaults, whittling down Godzilla over time. Unless Godzilla resorts to decimating the area with nuclear pulses. Oceanic battlefield. Setting. Mid-Atlantic ridge. An endless expanse of water, depths plunging to 3,700 meters. Godzilla's dominance. An aquatic creature by nature, Godzilla can swim at speeds over Mach 2. Underwater, he can utilize his atomic breath as a hydrothermal jet. King Kong's disadvantages. Kong lacks gills and has limited swimming capabilities. His muscle mass could cause rapid fatigue in water. Predicted outcome. Godzilla reigns supreme here. Kong would be out of his element and couldn't mount an effective offense. Volcanic arena. Setting. The slopes of Mount Etna during an eruption. Lava flows, toxic gases, and pyroclastic blasts make this a hellish landscape. Environmental hazards. Temperatures range from 700 degrees Celsius in lava flows to over 1000 degrees Celsius near vents. Air quality is poor. Tactical considerations. Godzilla could absorb geothermal energy, potentially boosting his power levels. His immunity to extreme heat allows him to wade through lava without harm. Kong would need to avoid hotspots. Predicted outcome. Godzilla gains a significant advantage. Unless Kong can somehow exploit the terrain to trap Godzilla, victory seems unlikely. Arctic tundra encounter. Setting. The icy expanse of Antarctica. Sub-zero temperatures, blizzards exceeding 120 km per hour, and treacherous ice fields. Godzilla's thermal advantage. His internal reactor keeps him warm. He can melt ice to create steam screens to obscure Kong's visibility. King Kong's survival skills. Kong's fur offers some insulation, but not enough for prolonged exposure. However, the ice could be used strategically to collapse shelves. Predicted outcome. Godzilla's consistency in performance gives him the edge. Unless he can outsmart Godzilla quickly, the cold environment works against him. Final analysis. Time to tally up the scores. Summary of battle outcomes. Urban metropolis. Leaning towards Kong due to tactical advantages. Jungle. Kong dominates with environmental synergy. Ocean. Godzilla's uncontested domain. Volcanic. Godzilla empowered by geothermal energy. Arctic. Godzilla favored due to environmental resilience. Overall strengths and weaknesses. Godzilla's strengths lie in his overwhelming power, durability, and ranged capabilities. His weaknesses are environments that limit his mobility. Kong's strengths are agility, intelligence, and environmental adaptability. His weaknesses include vulnerability to extreme conditions. Influence of environment. The battlefield plays a pivotal role. Environments that cater to agility and tactical maneuvering benefit Kong, while those that amplify raw power and durability favor Godzilla. In neutral settings, it's a much closer contest. Fan perspectives and theoretical considerations. Now, let's tap into the kaiju community. Popular opinions. Surveys on fan forums show a roughly 60-40 split in favor of Godzilla. Many cite his near invincibility, while Kong supporters emphasize his underdog spirit. The role of allies and human intervention. Historically, human intervention has influenced outcomes, like when the oxygen destroyer was used against Godzilla. Alternative scenarios. Imagine if Mechagodzilla entered the fray. Would Godzilla and Kong set aside differences? Cross-universe battles are also popular. So, who takes the crown in this titan tussle? Drumroll, please. It all boils down to the setting. In environments that play to Kong's strengths, he stands a solid chance. In open or extreme environments, Godzilla is the heavy favorite. But hey, the beauty of such legendary matchups lies in the debate. Do you think Kong's cunning can topple Godzilla's might? Or is the king of the monsters simply unbeatable? Let's get the conversation roaring. Drop a comment below, and let's hash it out. Massive shout out to the creators who've brought these iconic monsters to life over the decades, from the original, Godzilla, by Toho Studios to King Kong, from RKO Pictures, and all the way to Legendary Pictures' Monsterverse. Your storytelling fuels our imaginations. And of course, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more epic breakdowns, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, keep dreaming big and stay monstrous. Godzilla vs. King Kong. Who would win? Battles in different locations. Two titans of legend, unrivaled in strength, unmatched in ferocity. Godzilla, the king of the monsters, versus King Kong, the eighth wonder of the world. Who would triumph in an ultimate showdown? Today, we dive deep into this colossal clash, analyzing battles across diverse terrains to uncover who truly reigns supreme. Welcome back, kaiju enthusiasts and monster aficionados. Today, we're tackling a debate that has raged for decades among experts and fans alike. In a head-to-head confrontation between Godzilla and King Kong, who would emerge victorious? We'll explore this question not just in one setting, but across multiple environments, each presenting unique challenges and advantages. Buckle up, because this is going to be an epic, number-crunching, fact-driven analysis like you've never seen before. Background on Godzilla. Godzilla first rose from the depths in 1954, a byproduct of nuclear testing, a physical manifestation of humanity's destructive capabilities. Over nearly 7 decades, he has evolved from a malevolent force to a guardian of Earth, confronting threats ranging from extraterrestrial beings to ancient predators. His legacy is a tapestry of cultural significance, reflecting societal fears and technological advancements. Standing at an average height of 120 meters and tipping the scales at approximately 90,000 metric tons, Godzilla is a towering behemoth. His dermal layers are reinforced with radiation-hardened scales, making his skin nearly impenetrable. The dorsal fins lining his back are not merely aesthetic, they're integral to his nuclear physiology, acting as heat sinks for his atomic reactions. Godzilla's signature ability is his atomic breath, a concentrated beam of radiation capable of reaching temperatures exceeding 500,000 degrees Celsius, rivaling the surface of the sun. His regenerative abilities, often referred to as Regenerator G1, allow him to heal from catastrophic injuries at an accelerated rate. Furthermore, he can absorb various forms of energy, including nuclear and electromagnetic, effectively converting enemy attacks into fuel. Godzilla has defeated formidable opponents like King Ghidorah, a 3-headed extraterrestrial dragon with gravitational beam attacks. His tail swipe generates forces exceeding 300,000 tons of TNT, and his footsteps register seismic activity comparable to a magnitude 7 earthquake. His endurance is unparalleled. He has survived direct hits from meteorites and the Oxygen Destroyer, a weapon capable of disintegrating oxygen molecules. Background on King Kong. King Kong made his grand entrance in 1933, symbolizing nature's confrontation with industrialization and the unknown. Hailing from Skull Island, a land lost in time, Kong is the last of his kind, a protector of the island's delicate balance. His story reflects themes of isolation, humanity's hubris, and the intersection of beauty and the beast. Kong's size has varied, but in recent iterations, he stands approximately 102 meters tall and weighs around 50,000 metric tons. His primate physiology grants him a dense muscular structure, facilitating incredible feats of strength and agility. His skeletal structure is robust yet flexible, allowing for both brute force and nimble movements uncommon in creatures of his scale. Kong possesses strength proportional to a creature his size, enabling him to lift and throw objects weighing several thousand tons. His agility is unparalleled among kaiju. He can leap distances of up to 2 kilometers and his climbing speed reaches 50 meters per second. His opposable thumbs grant him the ability to wield tools and weapons, showcasing a level of adaptability rare among giants. Kong has battled and defeated the likes of the skullcrawlers, apex predators that decimated his species. He has withstood attacks from modern military hardware, including heavy artillery and aerial assaults. His ingenuity is highlighted when he uses natural resources, such as turning ship anchors into flails or fashioning tree trunks into spears, to gain the upper hand in combat. IV. Comparative analysis of strengths and weaknesses. Let's crunch the numbers. Godzilla outweighs Kong nearly 2 to 1. The square cube law indicates that as a creature's size increases, its volume, and thus weight, increases faster than its surface area. This gives Godzilla an advantage in raw power and durability but potentially limits his agility. Kong, while smaller, benefits from a higher power-to-weight ratio, enhancing his speed and reflexes. Godzilla relies on brute strength and his atomic arsenal. His combat style is straightforward, overwhelm and overpower. Kong, however, displays combat techniques akin to a seasoned martial artist. He utilizes grapples, evasion, and environmental awareness to outmaneuver opponents. His fights are dynamic, incorporating acrobatics and strategic strikes to exploit weaknesses. Godzilla's atomic breath is a game-changer, capable of long-range devastation and disrupting atomic structures at a molecular level. Kong's tool usage, such as wielding a battle axe capable of absorbing and redirecting Godzilla's atomic energy, can neutralize some of Godzilla's advantages. This adaptability showcases Kong's ability to counter otherwise insurmountable powers. Godzilla's durability is off the charts. He has survived nuclear explosions and weaponry designed explicitly to destroy him. His regenerative abilities further enhance his endurance. Kong, while resilient, does not possess the same level of regenerative healing but compensates with higher pain tolerance and quicker recovery times due to his mammalian metabolism. Intelligence could be Kong's trump card. His cognitive abilities enable complex problem-solving, communication, and adaptation. Godzilla operates on instinct, albeit with a level of cunning demonstrated by tactical decisions in battle. The impact of intelligence on combat effectiveness shouldn't be underestimated. It influences strategy, adaptability, and the ability to anticipate an opponent's moves. Versus battle scenarios in different locations. Urban cityscape. In a city, Godzilla's massive size allows him to plow through buildings, using them as shields or projectiles. His atomic breath can level city blocks, creating open spaces and removing obstacles. The urban environment amplifies his destructive capabilities. Kong can utilize the verticality of the cityscape, scaling skyscrapers to gain vantage points or launch aerial attacks. His agility allows him to maneuver through narrow streets and alleys, setting up ambushes. The abundance of objects can be repurposed as weapons. Imagine Kong wielding a collapsed radio tower. While Kong could exploit the environment for guerrilla tactics, the city's confinement may ultimately favor Godzilla's area of effect attacks. The risk of collateral damage is higher, which Godzilla has shown indifference to, potentially cornering Kong. Predicted winner. Godzilla. Dense jungle or island. The dense foliage hinders Godzilla's mobility, but his ability to alter the terrain with his atomic breath could flush out opponents. His dorsal fins can absorb ambient radiation from the Earth's core, potentially enhancing his powers in geothermal hotspots. Kong is in his element, literally. He knows the terrain intimately, can set ambushes, and utilize natural resources as weapons or traps. The jungle provides ample cover, and his stealth capabilities are maximized. His senses are attuned to this environment, giving him early warning of Godzilla's movements. Here, Kong's home field advantage is significant. He can lead Godzilla into hazardous terrain, quicksand, ravines, or areas prone to landslides. Extended engagements could fatigue Godzilla, who expends more energy moving through difficult terrain. Predicted winner. King Kong. Open ocean. This is Godzilla's domain. A marine creature by origin, he can reach speeds of 40 knots underwater, remain submerged indefinitely, and attack from below, an angle Kong cannot effectively defend against. His stealth in water is enhanced by his ability to suppress his electromagnetic signature. Kong is at a severe disadvantage. While he can swim, his endurance is limited compared to Godzilla's aquatic prowess. He might utilize floating debris or islands as temporary refuges, but options are scarce. Given Godzilla's dominance in aquatic environments, the outcome is clear. Kong's survival depends on retreat rather than engagement. Predicted winner. Godzilla. Arctic conditions. Godzilla's internal nuclear reactor provides immense heat, allowing him to operate in sub-zero temperatures without performance loss. He can melt ice barriers, potentially causing environmental hazards like floods or shifts in terrain that he can exploit. Kong's fur offers insulation, but not sufficient for prolonged Arctic exposure. However, the icy terrain could be used to set traps, like causing ice shelves to collapse or using his strength to manipulate large ice formations as shields or projectiles. The cold may sap Kong's strength over time, while Godzilla remains unaffected. The treacherous terrain could hinder both, but Godzilla's ability to reshape the environment gives him an edge. Predicted winner: Godzilla. Desert landscape. The open expanse allows Godzilla to utilize his full range of motion and firepower without obstacle. His endurance minimizes the effects of heat exhaustion. Additionally, subterranean pockets of geothermal activity can replenish his energy. Kong's keen eyesight in daylight and ability to use dust storms as cover could be advantageous. The scarcity of resources limits his capacity to employ tools, but his speed allows him to close distances rapidly. In the harsh desert, both face challenges, but Godzilla's resilience and lack of dependency on external resources tip the scales. The heat may dehydrate Kong, reducing his effectiveness over time. Predicted winner: Godzilla. V. Overall analysis and final verdict. After dissecting each environment, the score stands at Godzilla 4, Kong 1. While Kong excels in his natural habitat, Godzilla's versatility and overwhelming power dominate in most settings. Godzilla's key advantages lie in his near-invulnerability, atomic arsenal, and adaptability to extreme environments. Kong's intelligence and agility give him an edge in specific scenarios but are often insufficient against Godzilla's sheer force. The analysis highlights that while environment plays a crucial role, fundamental power disparities are challenging to overcome. Considering the data and technical analysis, Godzilla emerges as the ultimate victor. His consistent performance across varied terrains underscores his title as the king of the monsters. V. Conclusion. This deep dive has highlighted the complexities in pitting these two giants against each other. From the skyscrapers of an urban jungle to the depths of the ocean, each environment shifts the dynamics of battle in fascinating ways. Our exploration demonstrates how factors like terrain, abilities, and strategies interplay in determining the outcome. But what do you think? Do you agree with our analysis, or is there an overlooked strategy that could tip the scales in Kong's favor? Perhaps an environment we didn't consider? Drop your theories, calculations, and expert insights in the comments below. Let's get the discussion roaring. The allure of Godzilla and King Kong isn't just in their colossal might but in what they represent: nature's wrath, human ambition, and the eternal struggle between brute force and adaptive intelligence. As new films and stories emerge, this debate will undoubtedly evolve, and perhaps one day, the tables might turn. Until then, the king of the monsters retains his crown, but the eighth wonder remains a formidable challenger. Thanks for joining us on this monstrous journey. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, subscribe for more deep dive analyses, and hit the bell icon to stay updated on our latest content. Until next time, keep exploring the colossal wonders of our world and beyond.